Hey everybody, welcome to Pop Culture Philosophers. I'm Rockin Robbie Billups, and it's time for the weekly comic book review. That's right, everybody. Thanks for checking out the video. I am Rockin Robbie Billups. This is the weekly comic book review. It's the show where I read a lot of comic books and I let you know what I thought about them. And we got a little bit of fifth week blues going on around here. Not a lot of comics out this week, but there are still some good things to find and discover, including the pick of the week, because we always start with the pick of the week. And this week's pick of the week, Duke, issue number 2. Y'all, I honestly tried. I made it through all of these books, and I was like, surely, an Energon Universe book is not going to be my pick of the week again. But it is, because I base my pick on the week, or pick of the week, I should say, on what excites me, on what compels me, on what engages me. And y'all, Duke, Transformers, Cobra Commander, they just keep knocking it out of the park. It brings out the fanboy in me in the best and most positive ways ever. Now, I grew up a little bit of a G.I. Joe fan, more of a Transformers fan, but more of a Motu and Turtles fan, but I'm totally all in on this Energon universe, and I'm loving this rebuilding, this restructuring, this brand new from the ground up rebuild, yet very familiar, of G.I. Joe. I really love what Josh Williamson's doing with these characters, making Duke an exceptionally cool character. That's never been something that's been done for me. Tom Riley's artwork is great. An enormous sense of action here. Great coloring from Jordi Belair. The lettering by Russ Wooten. Everything about this book absolutely rocks. You get introduced to some more classic characters from the G.I. Joe universe, but done in a little bit of a more modern, maybe a little bit more of a fresh kind of way, including Stalker, including Rock and Roll, and including some other surprises. I cannot wait to see how this series develops along with Cobra Commander and into everything else in the larger Energon universe. Also from Image Comics, we have Moon Man, issue number 1. This is a Kid Cudi comic, so of course it's on my radar. I'm a huge fan of Kid Cudi's work. Love his appearance, for instance, in the movie X, as well as Bill and Ted Face the Music. Alright, but I also love his music. So Moon Man, issue number 1, co-written by Kid Cudi with Kyle Higgins. It's got artwork from Marco Lucati. There are moments in here where the artwork is so cool, so interesting, gritty, textured, psychedelic, and just out there. And the story itself is just kind of frantic, and so is the art that goes along with it outside of those more psychedelic things. It feels like this book's a little bit disjointed, right? So it's about this dude who gets these powers on a space mission or something. He comes back to Earth, and I guess he's going to become a superhero, but it's like I said, it's very disjointed. It seems to jump from scenes to scene without really giving you anything you need, any information you need in between, so it didn't really quite work for me. There are moments where I liked the concepts, moments where I liked the art, but overall, it was a disjointed experience that disappointed me. Then we got Worldtree, issue number 7 here. I am so unplugged from this book. I have no idea what the hell is going on. I know that there was some kind of demon or something on the internet. They turned off the internet, but all the interpersonal conflicts and dynamics and romances and feuds and everything between this group of people, it's just like Nice House on the Lake. It was compelling at first, but now I'm getting lost in the plot. I'm just like, who's this? How are they related to this? What's going on there? Who's sleeping with who? I'm so freaking confused. Everybody kind of looks the same. Long hair, don't care. Short hair, don't care. It's like, who are these people? What's going on? Now, that being said, still some interesting ideas. Still, I guess, a well-paced comic, but honestly, it's coming across these last couple issues since the end of Arc 1 as rather dull and uninspired. So I think I need to read the trade paperback that just came out and then reread these last 2 issues and see what happens. Because right now, one of my favorite books from last year is DOA right now, for sure. Then we got Local Man here with issue number 9. Really liking what Tony Fleece and Tim Seeley are doing in this book. He's a former Image extreme 90s type superhero who has been banned from using those powers by some kind of corporate entity. He's back at home in a small town, and now even though he can't use that identity or his powers, there's stuff going on in that hometown that has personal ties to him. Now, everything's been ramping up in the pages of this book. Wild, cool, crazy, zany stuff, but at the same time, very grounded and very real to earth, even in the midst of the insanity of all the 90s extreme type stuff that this is referencing. But the story has definitely been cranked up several notches, and our local man is in over his head, and I'm really digging what they're doing in the pages of Local Man. Then we got Dark Ride here with issue number 10. Josh Williamson's been doing a great job with this one. It's basically, what if Walt Disney sold his soul to the devil, and instead of making Disneyland, made Devilland? Horrorland. Everything seems super gnarly and cool, all based on horror movies and scary stories and stuff like that. But there's literal human sacrifice going on, and this story is focused on two of the kids who are the heirs to this theme park and this organization, and they're finding out more about the truth behind the amusement park, as well as the truth behind their own family history. Every time this book comes out, it never disappoints. Dark Ride has been a fun ride. Then we got King Spawn here with issue number 30. We're still building up slowly, albeit slowly, into Spawn 350. Very excited for that finally climactic battle for the throne of hell, seeing how it's going to shake out, how it's going to change Spawn for the foreseeable future. But until then, Spawn's just still slowly walking towards that throne, even though he's already gotten there in the pages of Spawn 349, which has already been published and released. And now in here, he's still walking around with Wanda, just reminiscing. It's all right. I mean, it's good. It's just like, come on, man. How long are you going to stretch out this walk? Damn. You know what I'm saying? All right, let's jump over to Marvel. We got Avengers Twilight issue number 2. This was almost the pick of the week. I really did like this book too. Daniel Acuna's artwork is really solid here, especially some of the color choices. And Chip Zdarsky's story is pretty good. It's a Marvel universe in the future run by these corporations, but secretly there's another force that's running things, right? But everybody's distracted by the media. Everybody's distracted from the lies and the greed and the corruption of the government and the corporations. And Captain America's been retired for a while. And there are these new like Avengers that are out that are like corporate sponsored Avengers that are just a disgrace to the name. And in the last issue, Captain America has been inspired to put the suit back on and go out there and fight the good fight. In this one, that's what he tries to do, but it presents new challenges, and I really like how this issue kind of dealt with that, because it didn't necessarily deal with it in a cliche Captain America way where he just wants to give speeches. I mean, they did do that, but then they showed what was wrong with that or why it doesn't work. So I don't know. I really like this book. I like this story, like this interpretation of the characters. There's a really great scene here with let's just say a younger Avenger. I don't know. There's a really great scene here between Steve Rogers and another former Avenger. Anyway, Avengers Twilight, really loving that story, really liking that art. Then we got Dead X-Men. Dead X-Men is a miniseries, part of this whole Fall of the House of X thing. Apparently Xavier put a team of mutants together. It's a rather dull team. It's got Jubilee, so that's cool. It's got Cannonball. It's got Frenzy. It's got Prodigy. It's okay. I guess it's cool. They don't really play up any of those character dynamics in this issue, but the basic premise of the book is this. So, you know, since Sinister was doing that little thing where you had like Moira's save points or whatever in different timelines, there's a group of X-Men sent by Xavier to explore those timelines to try to find out some information. It's all right. I guess if you're plugged into X-Men and you're like super like riveted and nail-biting about what's going on with this whole Fall of the House of X, you're probably going to want to check this out. It seems kind of plugged into what's going on in the main thread, but to me, I'm just so out of it. Like, I don't know, it just kind of came across a little dull and boring to me. Then we got The Incredible Hulk here with issue number 8, a great issue of The Incredible Hulk. Philip Kennedy Johnson's been doing a great job making Hulk a true monstrous horror comic, and at the same time have firm roots planted into the Marvel Universe of before and of now, right? But the art shifts and changes a lot, and it brings a tone of inconsistency that's not necessarily in the story. The story's been good, it's been progressing very well. However, the art just keeps shifting. In this issue, we have Nick Klein on the entire issue, and it soars. Some really, really great artwork here. Hulk's been possessed by another entity. That ain't gonna go well. for the Entity. You think this is Hulk's first rodeo? Come on. Come on. Anyway, loving the story. I just wish we could keep Nick Klein on here as much as possible, because that's where it soars. Then we got Spider-Boy here with issue number 3. I'm still liking Spider-Boy. I wasn't expecting to like this book, but I do. It's Dan Slott. That's cool. I think Dan Slott's written some decent Spider-Man books. But Spider-Boy, I'm liking this one. The art's fine. It's fun. It's cheesy. It's not taking itself very seriously, but it still has that kind of core classic Marvel vibe to it. I don't know. I like it. There's nothing about this character that is compelling to me. There's nothing about his story that is interesting to me. But I like this book. It's just like big, dumb Marvel superhero fun in a very kind of classic, vibey way. I like it. So Spider-Boy, 3 issues in. I'm liking it. I'm really shocked. Then we got spine-tingling Spider-Man here with issue number 4. This is the final issue of the series from Salad and Ahmed and Juan Ferreira. The artwork is absolutely amazing. The artwork is so good, and definitely the highlight and the star of the series. This set out to be a horror-inspired Spider-Man story, and it does the job. We had the revelation of Spider-Side in the last issue, which leads to the ultimate confrontation of the ultimate villain here in these pages, and I've never seen this villain done artistically as creepy as it is in here. Very satisfying conclusion to what was a very satisfying book. Let's jump over to DC. And from DC, we have Batman and Robin Annual, 2024 Annual to be exact, because we are now in 2024. Batman and Robin Annual, this has got artwork by Howard Porter. It is written by series regular writer Joshua Williamson, and it's a nice, solid, one-and-done, self-contained Batman and Robin story. Bruce and Damian go on a camping trip to do some bonding time, but of course they have to do it in a typical Batman and Robin fashion. Howard Porter's artwork is a little bit rushed and at times sloppy, maybe more so than usual, but it still has a certain vibrancy and energy that I like. But all in all, I think it's a decent book. It's not essential to the narrative flow of the entire series as far as like plot-wise, but as far as the thematic connection between Bruce and Damian, it does do a little bit of work there. So not 100% necessary if you're reading the regular series, but still a very solid, self-contained Batman and Robin story. Then we got the Batman Superman World's Finest Annual. It's got a kickoff story by Mark Waid and Cullen Bunn that is setting up the idea of a new threat that's going to erupt in World's Finest number 25, and it all comes from the 5th dimension. So an interesting play on if Mixius, Pitalik, and Batmite and some of their friends, and maybe a threat that they're worried about. Then there's a Metamorpho story. It was just all right. Then there's a Bumblebee story. It was kind of just all right, set a little bit before the World's Finest Teen Titans series. Then there was a Challengers Unknown of the Unknown story with artwork by Jorge Fornes. The artwork's fine, but the story itself is just kind of dull and boring. So this one's not 100% essential at all, but the opening story in here is a factor into tying into what they're building up for in World's Finest number 25. So I liked that bit. I found that intriguing, but found the rest of it to be kind of just all right. Then we got Batman Off-World issue number 3. Jason Aaron has killed it on this series so far, right? This is set early in Batman's career. He decides if he's going to protect Gotham, he's got to be prepared for every eventuality. That includes aliens. He puts himself in a situation where he winds up on an alien ship in space, gets his ass kicked, breaks free, and now is trying to rebuild himself and learn how to go back and take out these aliens, and it absolutely rocks. It's a masterful comic as far as just being exciting. Doing stuff that we've seen done with Batman comics and superhero comics before, but not necessarily with this level of exuberant joy behind it. And that is aided by the highly detailed, yet very much not muddying up the page or overcomplicating the page artwork from Doug Mahnke. Really great stuff here. I'm having a blast with it. Then we've got Titans Beast World issue number 6. This is the final issue of Titans Beast World. And here are my overall thoughts. First of all, on the issue itself, it's got some good parts, it's got some weak parts, it's got some okay parts. All in all, I feel like this book undercuts a lot of the stuff that was set up at the beginning of the series, but at the same time, does deliver on certain things. involving the Titans and where that book is going, as well as where the DCU is going. This series overall has been a really good Titans-centric event. As far as a mainline DC event, it does come across as a little bit weak, and some of the tie-ins are very much kind of disjointed as to how it all takes place. Because this feels like it takes place in like an afternoon, but apparently it's been longer than that. I don't know. Stakes felt high, but it didn't always quite deliver on that for me. But I do like what it's doing for the book Titans. What Tom Taylor is doing with Titans, this is essential to that book. If you're liking it, and I am, you're going to like Beast World. But if you're just in it for the big DC event, you might be a little bit disappointed because this comes across as a little bit more of a stepping stone, but it does have the consolidation of power from the next threat of DC. And I don't want to spoil it, but we all know who it is. It's not hidden. We all know. But the consolidation of power happens here. Some interesting developments for the DC universe as a whole. Then we get Alan Scott, Green Lantern, issue number 4. This is the origin of the Golden Age the Golden Age Red Lantern, which has some very personal connections to Alan Scott. I like this twist. I like this take on this character. We've never had the Red Lanterns in the Golden Age. That was a modern invention, so I love how Jeff Johns was infusing that lore into the Golden Age when he kind of restructured all of the Golden Age, and now we're in the new Golden Age. And I like that Tim Sheridan and other writers are coming in to fill out some of the back histories of these characters, these main Golden Age characters in this new Golden Age. I like this take on Alan. I like this take on the Red Lantern. I like this take on how personal this is to him. I liked it a lot. I'm also going to give this one the cover of the week because I think those colors pop, and this does what a superhero book should do. It stands out on shelves. It draws my attention. The use of the green and the red is not really sickly like sometimes it can be, but actually comes across rather interesting and visually appealing. All right, from Oni Press, we got a new one called Jill and the Killers, issue number 1. This is about a senior in high school, I believe. Her friend group's kind of moving beyond her. Her mother had died. She's kind of dealing with trauma over that. She feels disconnected from her friends. Her friends are into mysteries, wanting to start like a Nancy Drew club or something like that. I don't know. They want to start a mystery club. We all did that when we were kids, right? I know I did. Me and my homies, one of them had a shed in the back. We set it up as our office. I don't even remember what we called ourselves, but like we were supposed to investigate the neighborhood and shit like that, right? Like we all have done that, right? There's that little girl in and there where the body was. Yeah, that's the name of it. Where the body was, little girl there. Anyway, that's kind of this. And there's like a subscription box you can get where once a month they give you a mystery. Well, they think it's fake, but it turns out to be real. It's an interesting concept, but it's a boring book. Like, none of the dialogue really works. It's not exciting. The way it's paced, it's a little bit clunky. It never really quite grabs your attention or compels or engages you to want to actually continue reading it. So for me, this fell a lot flat. Then we've got American Psycho here, issue number 3. But this is an interesting book. It's not just a straight adaptation of American Psycho, though there are recreations of scenes from American Psycho with a slight twist to it that I don't know quite how I feel about it, but it's interesting enough, and it's kept me engaged, at least so far, because of my connection to appreciating that movie. I like that movie. But then there's a second story where it's like set a little bit further in the future, it's in 2011, but it's got an interesting hook, and it was an obvious hook, but that hook comes in this one. I don't know, I kind of liked it. I also like they've been doing these business card covers. I mean, it's not a good book, and I don't know quite how I feel about it or what it's doing to the lore of that movie or whatever, but I don't know. It's intriguing. Then we got The Devil That Wears My Face, issue number 4. David Pepose, Alex Cormack, Justin Birch, just killing it on this book. This is about a dude who's possessed by a demon. So the father comes to like exorcise him, but the demon tricks him, and the demon winds up in the priest's body, and now the soul of the dude and the priest is in the dude's body, so they think he's like a demon possessing this dude, but it's actually the priest possessing this dude, and the demon is possessing the body of the priest, and the priest, of course, is actually possessing the body of this dude who's supposed to be possessed by the demon. It's like Face Off, but with like a demon and like a priest. It's good. It's interesting, and Alex Cormack really brings the action in this issue, and there's a lot of high-stakes, big moments that are crafted by David Pepose and the team. Absolutely rocks my face off. The Devil That Wears My Face, because it came off, and It is like Face Off. It is like Face Off meets, for lack, I don't want to say The Exorcist because it's not like The Exorcist, but like, maybe it's like, let's use something as good or almost as good as The Exorcist, but not quite as revered. So it's like Face Off meets The Exorcism of Emily Rose. Yeah, I like that. I like that. All right, then we got Somna here from Distillery Comics. This is the second issue. Tula Lotay, Becky Cloonan, erotic folk horror is what this is. That's what this is. That means this book's got sex, it's got witches, it's got demons, it's got Puritans, it's got all of those tropes thrown together in a really cool way. I gotta be careful about what pages I actually show you. So it's about this woman. She's living in this world. There's all this witch worry going around. She's being visited in dreams by this demonic creature who's trying to entice her to have sex with her. Her husband is getting freaked out by her sexual activity. All this kind of stuff. It's a really intriguing story. Nothing new there. No new ground or anything, but the way the story is told. You got Becky Cloonan on some pages, Tula Lotay on some of the more ethereal pages. Is this a safe page? That is a safe page. Some of these are not because they're quite sultry. I really like it though. It's erotic folk horror. This is like A24 doing a comic book or something like that. I don't know. I like it. I enjoy it, and the smell of the week. And the Tula Lotay bits are absolutely great. Becky Cloonan bits work. I really like the end here. It's the setup to the final issue, but great use of the format and an interesting story. So, and it's got smell of the week. So, that's what I read. That's what I thought. What did you read? What do you think? What are you digging? To recap, Somna, erotic folk horror that I really like. The Devil That Wears My Face. It's like Face Off meets The Last Exorcism or something. I don't know. American Psycho, not quite sure how I feel about that one. Jill and the Killers, I didn't really like that one. Alan Scott Green Lantern, I'm digging that book, gets the cover of the week. Titans Beast World, a great Titans story, but not really a good DC event. Batman Off-World, though, has been an off-kilter fun ride for Batman. Batman Superman World's Finest has a bit that sets up the big World's Finest number 25. Outside of that, though, it's just kind of skippable. Batman and Robin, a really great story of Batman and Robin camping out in Batman and Robin style. Spine-tingling Spider-Man, a very chilling and satisfying conclusion. Spider-Boy, I'm still digging it. Incredible Hulk, a really great solid issue because Nick Klein's on the entire one. Dead X-Men, that one didn't work for me. Avengers Twilight was almost pick of the week material. It's very close to it. King Spawn, just still walking on to that throne. Dark Ride is always a fun ride when it comes out. Local Man stuns yet again. Worldtree is definitely losing me. Moon Man was a disappointment, but I'm still going to buy it. And then pick of the week is Duke. Energon Universe does it again, bringing a level of excitement, familiarity, and freshness into mainstream comics right now. Duke, issue number 2, is the pick of the week. So, yeah, there you go. Thank you so much for checking out the video. Be sure to like, share, and subscribe. And I'll be at MegaCon this weekend, so if you're going to be at MegaCon and you see me, say, what's up? Don't be shy. Come on, say what's up. Let's hang out. Anyway, I've been Rockin Robbie Billups. Thanks for rocking with us. Keep on reading. Station. Pop, pop. Boom!